Hello, welcome to Pro Mixing and Mastering. Today I'm going to show you how to mix the low end. But before we go anywhere, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also don't forget to leave this video a like. Now, mixing the low end is not simple. It involves a lot of work, especially when you want to get your bass and your kick to sit together. You want to bring out the low end. You want the low end to cut through the mix. That involves a lot of work, and that's where the kick and the bass comes in, where you have to make sure that during your mixing you mix the bass and the kick together. Both of them should not be mixed independently, they should be mixed together. This is going to help you to figure out where the kick is supposed to sit and where the low end of the bass is supposed to sit, and in that way you will have a good low end mix at the end of the day. Now right now I have my kick, which is this one, then I have my bass, which is this one, and this is how both of them sound like when played different separately, and then I'm gonna play them together. The kick is a little bit heavy and the low end is there, and this is how my bass sounds like. I advise that you listen to this using your headsets, because I'm gonna do something you may not hear the changes clearly. If you're using monitors, I advise that you use headsets. So basically this is how the two sound together, and when played they sound like this. And this is how they sound like in the mix. Now, if not worked on, these two are going to take up a lot of space, which is going to be a big issue when it comes to mixing, and especially during mastering. In case you have a problem when it comes to mixing the low end and trying to make the bass to sit together properly with the kick, here is how you do it. Make sure you add an EQ to the instrument that you want to hear the most. For example, if let's say you want to hear the bass, so you go to the bass and then you add in an EQ. This is how you do it. Add an EQ and always take it to 30. So what you do is boost in the range of 700 to 1K. This is the range of 700 to 1K, 500 somewhere here. We have 700 somewhere here. Then we have 1000K. So what I'm going to do is try to go around the 700 range. So I'm just going to boost it like this. Watch what is going to, how the bass is going to sound like the moment I begin to boost this. So I'm going to turn it off. Boost it. So the reason why I'm boosting is to give it some presence so that it can be more clear. Then I'm also gonna boost the 1K range, which is somewhere here. Boost it up so that the low end can be heard more to the ears. This is how it sounds like with a boost around 700 and also around 1K area. Before. So we have the low end heard more clearly and the presence is brought out. And now what I'm gonna do is, when you look at the frequency around this area is very important. So what you do is try to reduce this area a little bit so that the kick too can be able to sit, because when I look at this area, it's like the bass is a little bit fighting with the kick. So want to create space in this range 50, 55 to 100, somewhere here in the middle. We need to create space so that the bass can sit. Watch what is going to happen the moment I give it a little bit of a dip. Listen to how the kick is going to sound like. There will be more presence and things will be a little bit clear. Watch this. So right now we have brought out the kick. At the same time we have boosted up the low end, and at the same time both the kick and the bass are much clear. Let's listen to this in the mix. Much better before. A lot of mud, wasn't clear at all. This is why whenever you do a final mix, then if this is not worked on, it's really gonna muddy up and take up too much space. This is why a lot of time vocals just end up being swallowed up by the bass and the kick. This is before, after. Remember, your bass has to be heavy, but at the same time has to be controlled. The presence has to come out, the low end has to cut through. Now here is another trick. If you have mixed the low end, you've mixed the bass, but still it sounds like there's still a problem with the bass is not coming out, the low end is not coming out the way the low end is supposed to be coming out, it means that the problem is no longer with the bass but with other instruments. Now what you do is play all the instruments like this, and then start muting each instrument one by one. Start muting instruments. The instrument that you suddenly mute and the bass suddenly becomes clearer, it means that that instrument is the main problem. For example, if let's say I have my piano right here, and let's say my piano is boosted in the 200 area, and suddenly now I can't hear the bass, and this is how you do it, one by one. Play the bass together with all the instruments, together with the kick, and start muting instruments one by one. For example, I've muted these ones and everything still sounds okay. Then I'm gonna move to the next one. Then I'm gonna move to the next one. And suddenly this instrument, the moment I muted this instrument, the bass, the low end just became clearer. So right now I know that this instrument is the reason why my bass wasn't sounding good. So what do? I go to my mixer or to the EQ and then try to give it a little bit of a cut so that the bass can sit well together with the kick, like this. And suddenly my bass, the low end, is clearer now. So this is how you work on the low end, and this is how you mix the low end. Once again, I advise you to use headsets when listening to this tutorial so that you can get the best results.